Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a first impression review of Mayday's album Future Vintage. I believe this is their third album on Strange Music. With me, I have Joe Hova.
Hello.
And I am your host, CSJR, aka Profex. And we are both fresh off listening to this project. I think it came out like a week ago or so. And let's go and jump right into it. First off, have you listened to Mayday before? Had you heard them before, Joe?
Never. But I was scrolling the track list and I saw Tech Nine on there. I was like, okay, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah, well, Tech Nine actually introduces me to a lot of more obscure artists, because I mean, Strange Music does that in general. And Mayday was another one of those. They had a song with him way back a couple albums ago called Badlands. And I was like, yo, this is actually pretty dope. And Fragile, which is Kendrick Lamar, Tech Nine, and Mayday from last year, is actually one of my favorite songs in like forever. It's incredible. But their last two albums, I listened to them, and they have some really, really incredible moments on them. And then they had some really dope moments where it kind of lulled. But for the most part, I really enjoy their music. So, but this album actually caught me off guard. I've been a little off with Strange Music stuff, just following everything. So I didn't even know that this album was coming out until I saw them drop a bunch of interviews, and then boom, the album was out. And I was like, all right, well, let's give it a listen and see what's happened, and see how they have developed since the last project. So,
like, when I was listening, the first half of it for me was like it kind of ran together, but it was funny. Like, it felt like I had heard like this type of music before, and I was racking my brain. I was like, where have I heard this? And then it just came to me. It's like, this is music that you hear at a bar when there's like nobody at the bar, like on like a Wednesday night. Like, that's what it sounded like open mic shit.
That's I don't know how to take that comparison.
I mean, some of it's cool, but some of it was just kind of it's like, really? Like, let me go get my drink.
Gotcha. With me, this is actually a standout project for me for this year. So we are on the very, very opposite sides of the scale when it comes to this album. For one, we keep running into this, and there's only one album I can think of that really kind of overcame it. But this is another really long album. This ain't the deluxe version either. This is 18 songs.
Yeah.
While I feel like they kept my attention more than the Fetty Wap project did, because not everything sounded the same to me.
Yeah, baby.
This is still ridiculously long. 18 songs. Like, y'all got people.
And that's the thing. I don't know if it's our attention spans or like because I mean, we do so much stuff on the side anyway that we don't have a whole lot of time to begin with to like listen to a project that's like over an hour most of the time. But like, I don't know if it's like we've been spoiled with like these 10, 11, 12 song projects that have been fantastic this year, or if it's just that like it's too like a case of where quality over quantity.
I think it's quality. I think we want quality over quantity. It's just something so much more appealing about a shorter, cohesive project. Because when you get to 18, things start to feel like fluff, or rather, the fluff is easy to pick out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they have such, and just, you know, on my end, like, they have such really, really good songs, and there are some that just completely just go by and you don't even remember them happening.
The first half.
I don't feel that way about the first half. Like, the songs with me are scattered, because like Jettison, I thought was a good start. Fuel to the Fire, I really like a lot. Can't Take It With You is not very memorable. Won't Wait is cool, and Coast is actually a standout song for me. And that's just the first 5 songs. Coast is, like, when I break it down to the top 3 songs, that'll probably be one of them. Which is followed immediately by one of the songs that I dislike the most off the project. But what were you about to say?
The first half of it, like I was saying, it kind of blends together, but also it has that live instrumentation like throughout, which I kind of dig. That it's kind of like an alternative sound for hip hop right now, and I think it sounds good. It's just it kind of runs together for me.
The live instruments is definitely what drew me to Mayday in the first place. Because on that Badlands song, they had kind of some live instruments to it. I don't recall it being used as much on this project. But when it did happen, it was definitely good to me.
Yeah, it just felt like it felt like more like rock music at times.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's kind of a thing with them since the beginning. Like, there's not like this album happened and that changed. Yeah. I feel like that's definitely been a consistent thing with them, which I don't have a problem with. But it is definitely different. It's kind of shocking in the way Yellow's album was.
Yeah.
It was a very big change. So number 6, Dive, where like you have the album and it's called Future Vintage. I don't know the full story. I haven't watched a lot of the interviews, so I don't know the full story behind that title, but I imagine that they're trying to do a future vintage sound. Where either you have that collectively or you have it separately, where you have vintage sound, you have future, and then you have the mix. Dive is more on the vintage side, and I do not like that song.
See, I like Dive.
Dive seems so out of place to me.
I don't know. I liked it.
See, the next song is actually probably my favorite song on the project, Something in the Air, because like that one is future and vintage because it starts off with the old school sound to it. And then that beat drops and it's super heavy. And I was like, yo, this is dope. Because at first I was a little worried that I was going to get bored with the song because of the vintage sound in the open. But the beat drops and it's super dope. What do you think of that song?
That was Something in the Air is cool. I felt like it picked up like around Into the Night for me. Like that's where I actually started like caring and like paying attention and stuff, because like it started sounding different right around there, especially with Stay Away From You. Like that's an amazing song.
That's actually probably the best stretch of music on the album.
Stay Away From You and All the Time are probably my favorites.
Got you. Into the Night is actually in my top 3 also. But yeah, that stretch is solid. Space Cadet, I actually thought I was gonna hate it.
I actually did hate that Space Cadet. It was boring to me.
That was another one that's kind of out of place in a way. But I didn't hate it per se. I like the sounds on it. I like the production. And then Into the Night, Stay Away From You, All the Time are very good. I don't quite remember 1033. I'm actually hitting play on it right now to get it. Oh, wait, no. I fucking love that song. I remember that album because that's the one that has it's another duo from Strange Music on it with a guy named Ubiquitous, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they snap. And like, 1033. I'll probably have to call it like 1033, Into the Night, Coast would be my favorite songs on the project. I see with me, as far as stuff like blending together, I think this next stretch is kind of where that happened for me for a second.
And it did it again for me. Like the beginning blended and then the end of it blended.
Yeah, like Antenna, One Wing, Know It, and Brother. While the songs were not bad, they ran long. And I think that's a product of 18 songs.
Yeah.
like
you're sitting there like you're gonna get bored at some point. And it's the nature of the industry now. Like if you put out something more than like 15 songs and it's not quality for every single song, people are gonna get bored and they're gonna start nitpicking.
Right. But I will say that the last 2 songs, not really 3, because Sun Will Rise is a skit. Against My Better Judgment is good, and the last Sunrise is an incredible close to the project. And I feel like that song kind of more defines the group. Because how you said it was hip hop and rock, and it's definitely that to the next level even. And it's a really, really good close. And overall, like throughout the entire project, one thing that I can definitely appreciate is how versatile the whole group is. It's made up of you have 2 rappers, you have Burns and Recognize. And Recognize, you haven't been listening to him enough, the group enough to know who's who. But Recognize also did a solo album last year. And I actually think he's one of the better artists in hip hop, one of the better rappers in hip hop right now, or artists in general, because he sings too. So a lot of the moments that you have on here are him singing, but there's definitely somebody else singing with him, somebody to assist him or whatever. But there's Burns, there's Recognize, Ken Prazer, Andrews, and Terrell. LT Hopkins, who's the drummer, and Gianni Pericapi, aka Gianni Cash. Which Gianni Cash, Recognize, and Burns are probably the most notable people that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken Prazer is also known as Plex Luthor, but that's a cool ass name, by the way. But for me, it feels like there are songs that are just like rap focused, and the production isn't as deep.
Mm-hmm.
What were you about to say?
I was just gonna say, it just felt like there was like certain songs that lean more hip hop and certain songs that lean more rock.
Yeah, and Last Sunrise is a good example of something that I felt like you had all of these different people involved and getting to express themselves in all these different ways. And it's tough because like there are good songs that lean more hip hop, there are good songs that lean more rock. I guess just having that diversity is a good thing for them. But for me, I look for kind of a cohesive sound in some ways, at least on the bottom line. But overall, what did you think? Would you recommend it?
No, I don't think I would. It's too long. If it's too long for me, it's definitely too long for another casual listener.
Gotcha. I'm going to recommend it because even though it is too long, the songs that are great on there are really, really, really good songs that I feel like you have to hear. It's going to be tough to convince a new person to listen to the whole thing, though. That's definitely a tough thing. Unless me and you are just completely weird about that shit or something. But I think it'll be hard.
I have to listen to an album front to back. Like I have to.
Yeah, so. Me too. And when it drags, it drags. But Future Vintage, I feel like this is the better of their albums, honestly, because those dead moments in the other two, they weren't just dead as in they ran together. The songs just were not as good. Yeah. And both of the last two albums had those moments, which was really disappointing because, again, the songs that were good were absolutely great. But I will recommend Future Vintage. I do recommend you go back and listen to a few of the songs from before. At least watch the videos. There's some really good videos. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather, but they actually have a song that's kind of creepy. I may have mentioned it on one of the older podcasts, but it's called The Runner or Mr. Runner or something. And I listened to it, and it took me a few listens to realize that they were singing from the perspective of a runner during the Boston bombing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, like, you know, the first part that they're going through, they're just talking about, you know, running or whatever and the stresses of that. And then it gets to a point where the explosions happen, and you start to hear that in what they're saying and what they're saying that they see, and it's, like, super like scary, like it's crazy. It's ethereal, but it's an incredible song though. It's definitely something that you have to hear. So, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna link you to that, Joe, because you need to hear it yourself. But this has been the first impression review. You got any last words, Joe?
Nah, not today.
One of those days.
One of those. I'm so drained right now.
Yo, I feel you, bro. But hit the eye annotation in the top right or left, whatever side it is now, because I've forgotten because we hadn't really done it in a while. Top right? Okay, cool. Right. The top right side if you'd like to donate to thecoalition.com so we can improve on the things that we are presenting to you and hopefully not get them stolen by other websites. Yeah. But check the other podcasts, hit the Co-op, hit the Throwdown, hit Baby in the Beard, and watch the actual Nights of the Turntable podcast. We just did a really good episode about independent hip hop, and right before that we did the Acceptable White Rapper episode, which was a fantastic episode as well. But we will see y'all next time. Hit the comments, like, subscribe. Peace out.